This evening, the government announces a slew of measures to combat the country's increasing inflation. Kitty residents were greeted with flooded roads and pavements due to heavy downpours. A husband wanted for the murder of his wife was discovered partially decomposed. In the region, U.S. solar projects are on hold due to tariff inquiry. And internationally, North Korea deploys army as WHO expresses concerns over COVID. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. The partially decomposed body of murder suspect 56-year-old Vijamal Raj was discovered at Enmore Backlands on Monday, May 2022. Reports are that around 12:30 p.m., a cattle farmer of Cummins Lodge was grazing his cattle at Enmore Backlands when he observed a mosquito netting in the bush. Upon check-in, he saw the partially decomposed body of the male. The farmer went to the Enmore police outpost and made a report. He was accompanied by an inspector and a party of policemen to the area. On arrival, the body of the deceased was in an advanced stage of decomposition, clad in a red jersey, blue pants, and black cap, and lying under a light blue mosquito netting on some cloth and salt bags. 2 bottles of insecticide were seen next to the body. The scene was processed and photographed. The body of the deceased man was identified as Vijamal Raj by his son. Raj was wanted by the police for the murder of his wife Savitri Raj just over a month ago at Fowlis on the east coast of Demerara. The woman was reportedly stabbed multiple times by the now deceased man before he broke a window in the house and escaped. The son heard his mother groaning, and upon checking he discovered her lying in blood with a stab wound to her neck. The couple was married for 32 years and was scheduled to appear in court since the relationship was an abusive one. A sudden torrent of rain beginning in the early hours of this morning greeted Kitty residents with flooded roads and pathways, an all too typical scene in the neighborhood. Esther Sobers has more.
The major rain has arrived with the regular flooding in and around Georgetown. Headline News took a tour of the flooded Kitty Sandy Bab's Georgetown neighborhood, in which is notorious for flooding whenever it rains, and the roadway was quickly flooded. Many commuters struggled to get to their destinations, and when they did, they had to go through flood waters. A closer look at the road and why it floods so frequently revealed that the road and the pavements are aligned the same way. The poor drainage for water to pass, water immediately flooded many of the stalls at the Kitty Market, forcing them to close. One resident suggested that the road should be raised.
The road then, and then clean the road and the drain it together. Or that is to solve this problem. All body got water lead it to the gutter. And the gutter and the road are the same thing. So if you raise the road, then the gutter will get more deeper.
How long have you been living in Kitty?
About 25 years.
And within the 25 years, every time it rains?
Yeah, every time it's just like that.
And nothing?
Nothing, nobody do nothing. Look, watch how all in gutter water coming down there. All are going there, all fall right here. And the gutter and the road is the same thing. You need to raise the road them and all the hole them are in that there. You can't get for drive. If you go up the road, you can't ride a bicycle. If you can't walk for coming to work, you go right there to the road and you go just turn right there, and you can't walk out with the boots to come to work. As the rain set up so the place flood.
Residents of Sandy Bab Kitty say nothing is being done about the constant flooding of their yards and are pleading with appropriate authorities to intervene and resolve the matter once and for all. Still, the community continually floods when it rains. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. To improve the level of services provided by the Guyana Water Incorporated, the company would be replacing 4,000 effective meters. The initiative forms part of the entity's robust metering program to attain 85% meter coverage by 2025.
It's one of the objectives is to ensure the reduction in NRW, the water losses, so that customers can be more ensure that they use water sparingly and with concern, no wastage of water. This is the goal of it. So moving forward, we have to reduce the NRW because this contributes the financial sustainability. This is one of the other reasons why we're doing well. We are trying to bring down, under our strategic plan, NRW losses should come down to 55% by 2025.
Currently, this projected figure is being revised to range between 45 to 50%. CEO of GWI, Sheikh Bash, said this step will boost the company's financial position and ensure consumers are not billed unfairly.
We have replaced 5,000 defective meters over the last year and a half. Meters that are not measuring accurately, they're defective, they're in drains. 5,000 of those meters, because there was a gap in the metering program in this country for over 5 years. And so this is important for our customers.
Last year, GWI installed 15,000 new meters and will install 20,000 more this year. GWI is expected to replace meters in regions 2, 3, 4, 6, and 10 for this year. Stick around after the break. Guyana's government announces a slew of measures to combat the country's increasing inflation, and CPCE receives over 4,000 applications amid the government's effort to strengthen the country's educational system. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule, sponsored by Antique and Modern Concrete Molding Establishment.
In a world filled with copycats and ever-changing trends, make your property stand out with unique concrete moldings. Different, exquisite designs, carefully handcrafted to suit your style, with various customizable and antique and modern designs made at our factory. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment. We make your property outstanding. We make and install all moldings anywhere in Guyana.
The best quality, affordable prices, on-the-spot quotes, and no hidden fees.
Call us or WhatsApp us at 684-5050 or email us at modernestab@gmail.com. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment, made to stand out.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
They say that when it hits you, it hits you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give in to a juicy piece of KFC. To feel elevated by the aroma and to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to register? Visit the registration office responsible for your area of residence to apply for registration. See Sunday Press for the locations of the registration offices. Registration offices are open from Monday to Friday, 8 to 18 hours, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 14 hours. The offices will be closed on holidays. This registration exercise will end on Sunday, May 29, 2022. For further information, contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808. Or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. On Monday, Dr. President Mohamed Irfan Ali announced the $1.8 billion in relief measures for persons living in the hinterland communities and farmers. The measures, he said, came from continuous widespread consultations that the government had undertaken with Guyanese. According to President Ali, the funding is being used from the $5 billion budgeted to help Guyanese cope with the rising cost of living.
In order to bring relief to those households facing extreme hardship, my government will be providing a special one-off grant of $25,000 to every single household in riverine and hinterland communities. This will place an additional $800 million at the disposal of these households who have been particularly affected by recent rises in cost of living.
The announcement of the cash grant follows a slew of previous measures implemented by the government to assist Guyanese. Dr. Ali also announced that the government will be supporting the country's agricultural sector with the purchase of fertilizers. This comes on the heels of the rise in cost of production, which has, in turn, affected the production of farmers and has translated to increased prices on the market.
In order to cushion the impact of the rising cost of fertilizer on farmers and to limit the pass-through to food prices, my government will be purchasing $1 billion worth of fertilizer for free distribution to farmers for use in their planting and replanting activities. Considering that fertilizer accounts for between 15 to 30% of the total operating costs for farmers, this initiative will significantly reduce input costs and help ensure scaled-up production and adequate supply of output, which is critical to maintaining price stability.
Dr. Ali also announced that the government is proposing to launch a home construction assistance facility. The facility will provide Guyanese with the assistance needed to begin home construction. He said government recognizes that many persons, although they have a house lot, encounter challenges managing home construction. This initiative, he stated, will be opened to persons with both government-allocated and privately owned house lots and is in keeping with the government's ownership drive.
Persons who have a house lot and wish to receive government help to construct a home on that lot may register their interests with a unit that will be establishing soon for this purpose. At the time of registration, the applicant will also select the preference from among 3 standard pre-designed models at the cost of $7 million, $9 million, and $12 million.
He said further that the government will support the applicant through the process of securing finance through the bank and will also look at assisting in the initial phase of construction by releasing resources to expedite the construction process.
Government will also undertake the construction of home on behalf of the applicant and deliver to the applicant a complete home in accordance with the option selected. We expect that this measure will help to drastically accelerate the capacity of Guyanese families to own and occupy their own homes.
The head of state also announced that the government would be removing value-added taxes on sheetrocks and concrete boards until the market stabilizes. This measure is expected to cost $100 billion annually and will provide critical additional relief to persons constructing their homes. Since its expansion into online classes, CPC has received over 4,000 applications. This comes as the government works to strengthen the educational system in the country. As the Sobers has more.
The Ministry of Education requests for untrained teachers to enroll in the Sierra Porter College of Education is a measure that will put educators in a better position to deliver quality education as Guyana strives to become a first-class education system. On Monday, the Minister of Education, Priya Manichan, said Guyana is seeking to have first-class education and the ministry aims to train all teachers by 2025, creating a solid education system that produces well-educated students. CPCE has already received some 4,600 applications, the highest number ever seen by the college at any one time. The college has only been able to admit 538 applicants at its highest capacity. The institution will be expanding to offer online education to facilitate flow of applicants and ensure classrooms are not without teachers during instruction time. Minister Manichan said everywhere in the world the aim is to have trained teachers in the classroom, which will have a beneficial impact on the lives of students and enhance their academic performance, opening more windows of opportunities for them and generations to come. Meanwhile, the minister said she is pleased with the responses received by teachers and is encouraging others to join the profession. The college continues to achieve great heights, registered the highest graduating batch of some 843 trained teachers in January this year. Of that amount, 198 were trained by early childhood education, 404 in primary, and 241 qualified for the secondary level. Of the 843 students, 198 pursued a teacher's training certificate program and 646 pursued an associate degree in education program. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. Mali withdraws from West African Military Alliance and Korea deploys army as World Health Organization expressed concerns over COVID.
The Guyana Elections Commission GECOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. It is your civic duty and legal responsibility to apply for registration if you are eligible. When you do, you would be issued a national ID card and be listed to vote at future elections if you meet other eligibility criteria. Persons could be fined or sent to prison for refusing to apply for registration. Registration will end on May 29, 2022. For further information, please contact GECOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808, or visit the GECOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
The Guyana Elections Commission GECOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Eligible persons can apply for new registration if you were never registered, name change if you have changed your name since you were registered, correction if registration information is incorrect, and transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered. See Sunday Press for more details. This registration exercise will end on Sunday, May 29, 2022. For further information, contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. A small company in California is causing a big headache for the multi-billion-dollar solar industry. Auxin Solar has accused China of avoiding tariffs by routing its operations through other countries in the region. The investigation into those claims has now forced a number of projects in the U.S. to be put on hold, Al Jazeera's John Hendren reports.
In sunny Southern California, the soul of the American solar industry, Mark Smith can't find solar panels at any price.
Yesterday, we put in an order for solar panels for the product that we use, and I'm being told August. This is unheard of for my company. So this is really detrimental.
How long would it normally take?
2 weeks.
The U.S. solar power industry has been nearly frozen in time since late March. That's when the U.S. Commerce Department started investigating whether China was evading U.S. tariffs by shipping solar panels through 4 other countries. And because 80% of the panels in the U.S. come from those countries, Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam, almost no one is buying them. They're afraid if they buy them now, later they'll have to pay stiff, retroactive tariffs. And there are few other options.
We can almost not tolerate this and survive. Many companies will go under.
An industry survey found companies are now considering laying off 38,000 Americans, more than a third of the solar workforce, and could lose $30 billion in lost projects. The man who asked for the government probe knows what his rivals think of his company.
Most hated solar company in America.
Mamoun Rashid, founder of the tiny Silicon Valley panel maker Auxin Solar, says he's trying to save the U.S. solar industry from Chinese domination and unfair competition.
If it sticks, that means 2 things. Cheating was going on, and number 2, it highlights how dependent we are on foreign suppliers, and we need to get off of that dependency because these panels are coming in lower than our bill of materials. So the U.S. worker hasn't even had a chance, and they've lost the race. They haven't even entered the race. Something is very wrong with that.
The kerfuffle is undermining President Biden's ambitious goal to have solar make up 40% of the nation's energy use by 2035. Members of Congress are furious, but powerless.
We shoot ourselves in the foot by allowing this kind of stuff to happen.
The longer the situation persists, the more severe the damage will be.
The U.S. Commerce Secretary says the probe will take as long as it takes.
My hands are very tied here. I'm required by statute to investigate a claim that companies operating in other countries are trying to circumvent the duties. And I'm required by statute to have a fulsome investigation.
A preliminary ruling is due in August. A final decision could take a year. Another trip around the sun that might bring precious little progress for the American solar industry. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Santa Monica, California.
Mali is withdrawing from a military alliance in West Africa because of disagreements with other members about its leadership, Al Jazeera's Nicholas Haig reports.
Mali says it no longer wants to be part of a losing force. 5,000 soldiers from Burkina Faso, Chad, Mali, Mauritania, and Niger are in the G5 Sahel. It was formed 5 years ago to combat armed groups linked to ISIL and Al-Qaeda, but it's struggled to reduce attacks because of lack of funding and disagreements among member states. Mali was due to take over as chair of the force in February, but opposition from member states angered its military rulers.
The opposition of some G5 Sahel member states to Mali's presidency is linked to maneuvers by a state outside the region aiming desperately to isolate Mali.
Mali's government accuses former colonial power France of excluding it. Once friends, now foes, the 5,000 French troops deployed almost 10 years ago to protect Mali's government from attacks are pulling out. After the military coup in 2020, leaders of the junta hired Russian mercenaries from the Wagner Group for their protection. The junta is refusing to hand over power to civilian rule for another 2 years. As a result, neighboring countries have imposed sanctions on the landlocked country, sealing its borders and halting trade.
Prices have exploded. For example, the price of soap has doubled, and food is much more expensive. Basic necessities have become unaffordable, and this is because of the embargo. If this continues, we won't be able to survive. This is unsustainable.
State coffers are becoming empty with just enough to pay civil servants for a few months. Togo has offered to mediate between Mali's junta and regional leaders. While the UN peacekeeping force remains, the UN Secretary General warns of the debilitating effect Mali's troubles are having on the rest of the region, threatened by armed groups. Mali is increasingly isolated, with Russian mercenaries remaining to deal with a country on the brink. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera.
And finally, North Korea has enlisted the army and deployed 10,000 healthcare workers to trace COVID-19 patients. 6 deaths were reported on Tuesday, with a further 270,000 persons showing fever-like symptoms. Its leader, Kim Jong-un, is blaming healthcare officials for being irresponsible in their handling of the crisis. Al Jazeera's Rob McBride reports.
After 2.5 years of denying its very existence, North Korea seems not only to have accepted the arrival of the pandemic, but that it's now everywhere. The outbreak dominates extended coverage on state-run media, with people being encouraged to adopt good hygiene, exercise, and homegrown remedies, with the emphasis on living with the virus rather than isolating from it.
The malignant virus spreads very quickly, but on the other hand, the danger of the pathogen is low. It can be completely destroyed.
Case studies of families who have apparently contracted the virus and then recovered have been widely aired. We all got sick, this father says, then adding they all got better within a couple of days. The message seems to be, don't panic. It's very different from the confident face that North Korea has shown to the world in public parades and gatherings in recent months, which could prove to have been major super-spreader events. Leader Kim Jong-un has criticized his officials and ordered pharmacies to provide more medicines. Given most people experience mild symptoms from the Omicron variant, it's been established that cold and flu remedies can help. But that's on top of comprehensive vaccination campaigns. And so far, North Korea has resisted all international offers of vaccines, including from South Korea. This mild type of COVID-19 spreading through a completely unprotected population seems to be uncharted territory, with neighboring health officials looking on with concern.
We don't know what the consequences of this Omicron variant will be when it spreads to a large number of people who have never been in contact with COVID-19. There are enough reasons to pay attention to this with interest.
Adding to North Korea's problems is widespread malnutrition from food shortages, an economy racked by years of sanctions, and a weak medical system. Many observers believe it can't afford a hard lockdown like other countries and has no choice but to tough it out. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
That is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. Tune in on Wednesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.